After 2 weeks with the HomePod 2, I only have one question for Tim Cook and the people at the spaceship in Cupertino. Why? What's up, people? This your boy Viper, the man about tech, back again for the video. And yes, I've had the HomePod since launch day, the HomePod 2, and I'm really wondering why. Why does this thing exist? If you remember, 5 years ago, Apple released the OG big boy HomePod, and it was met with much consternation, and typically we kind of felt like it was missing some things out of the box, even though the audio quality was A1, excelente. There were just some other things about the original HomePod that just made us scratch our head. And even with this updated HomePod here in 2023, I am still scratching my head. For example, why in 2023 does Apple release a smart speaker that does not have Bluetooth music playback functionality included? The only way that you can play music off of this thing is via Wi-Fi. It is perplexing. I don't understand it. Now, to their credit, this thing does have AirPlay 2 compatibility. So even if you use other music services like Spotify or Tidal or YouTube Music, you can play music off of the HomePod via AirPlay. So the first time it came out, when it launched originally back in 2018, Apple Music was the only game in town until they updated it later on down the road. But now you got AirPlay right out the box with this one, so you got those other services on deck in addition to Apple Music. About that audio quality, it still sounds amazing. This thing has bass that makes you go boom. It can shake your table, your house, whatever. It sounds rich, full, it's quality, it's good music, it's good sound. Although I kind of feel like it's being held back a little bit. I feel like it could be louder. While I have you here, if you feel like I am helping you better understand and connect with the technology around you, hit subscribe for the vibe. Speaking of that sound quality, let me see if I can get you an audio sample without getting in trouble with YouTube. Hey, play some royalty-free music.
The royalty-free music company, now playing.
As I said, sound quality legit. The big thing that most people are doing with this particular device is that they're buying two of them. And they're buying two of them to replace a soundbar or to put in place of a soundbar. So the question then becomes, can two of these big boy HomePods replace a full-fledged soundbar? And I believe they can. Like, this thing covers pretty much my entire house. Now, I don't have the biggest house in the world, but in a small environment, like a small apartment or like a medium-sized house, you really only need one of these to cover the entire spacing of the house. But if you get two of these, you are entering home theater territory for sure. The audio and just the fullness of the sound and the loudness is that good. These can definitely replicate a soundbar for sure. Now, the other thing that kind of makes me curious is this top display. Hey, Siri, why are you so large? Why are you so big on this HomePod?
I don't have an answer for that.
I don't either, Siri. I don't either. Why are you so big? I don't either. But that's what it is. I mean, it's not like
trying to do my job.
It's not like we can do anything extra with that extra screen real estate. It's just still a big old blob of Siri. So that is what that is. Also, with this thing, Siri was being a little finicky. She was missing some requests, but Apple did just push out an update yesterday. HomePod version 16.3.2 fixed the issue where Siri was not answering the request. And I was also experiencing issues where music would stop playing out of nowhere, which kind of annoyed me. But since the update, it seems like those have been fixed. A much welcome minor adjustment Apple have made with this updated HomePod is this power cord can now be disconnected. So no longer do you have to walk around with the power cord dragging behind you everywhere. You can unconnect it, reconnect it, and you are good to go. So we definitely like that. The other thing that kind of bugs me about this HomePod is if I start a song on the iPhone and then transfer it to the HomePod, there's kind of a delay. I don't know if it's because the data needs to travel or whatever. And sometimes it doesn't even play from the start of the song. It'll pick up in like 5-10 seconds into the song. So that's kind of annoying, and that's just something to be aware of. Obviously, if you're buying a HomePod, you're probably buying it because you have an iPhone or you have other Apple devices, and the Apple integration is legit. The handoff from iPhone to HomePod is seamless. It works very well with this particular HomePod. You can play music from Apple Music, of course, and as I mentioned earlier, you can use other services that are not Apple Music as well. But if you are an Apple Music user, as I am, works perfectly off of Apple Music. So that is a good look. However, with this thing being priced at $300 and with the smart speaker segment being what it is today, there are definitely many more options out there that are cheaper and are more versatile than this particular HomePod because, again, there's no Bluetooth playback functionality on this device, and there are other speakers out there that have that, and they're cheaper and sound almost as good, if not as good as the HomePod. They sound almost as good. I feel like this thing has a lot of competition out there, and it's kind of hard to justify people going out and spending this much money on this HomePod when there's so much competition out there. So which brings me back to my original question of the video. Why? Why does this HomePod exist? Why did Apple feel the need to re-release this 5 years later with little to no update to it? I mean, besides being Matter compatible and having a temperature or humidity sensor on here, this thing is no different from the one that we got 5 years ago. But with the competition as stiff as it is in the smart speaker market, I don't know if I can fully recommend this when there's so much other options out there. But obviously, at the end of the day, that will be your choice.